Welcome to the Effed Up Mind podcast, where we flip the effed up mind and turn it into power. I have someone on the podcast who's very special to me. He was able to motivate me and change my life and keep me pushing. But he's also gone through so many different challenges in his life, from losing both his parents, but he did not let that defeat him. He was able to flip that effing mind and create greatness. Thank you, Moy, for coming on.
Appreciate you, bro.
How you feeling?
I feel great. How about yourself?
It's day by day, right? It's day by day.
That's good.
That's the only way.
What's up, man? What you got for me?
Well, I mean, for everyone out there that doesn't know who you are, who are you?
First off, I am a son of God. I'm a father. I am a husband. I'm a brother. And I'm a leader in my community, and I'm an investor. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a lot of things. And we can have a deeper dive into these things as the podcast goes on. But I'm excited to share what's on my heart.
Yeah, man. You've been through real life pain, losing both your parents. How did that change you as a man?
I think for me, it's not necessarily losing my parents that changed me. It was the lessons that they taught me that changed me. Knowing that all the principles that they instilled in not just myself, but in my brothers, my sister, can leave an impact and a long-lasting legacy upon our peers in our communities. And so, it's always sad when you lose, your loved ones, especially your parents who have been there, through everything, right? Growing up, and they're giving you everything. I mean, literally from when you're a baby to you're always their baby. That's what I'm saying. Till you're grown. Yeah. Just constantly pouring in, and it's a big loss when you lose people like that. But what we've focused on is not the loss; it's what we gained, the time that we've had with them, and it's been nothing but pure inspiration, knowledge, legacy, and impact that allows us to kind of turn that over into our ongoing world of ourselves of ourselves. And so I would say the biggest change is just adapting to what they were already doing and making sure that stays strong every day.
There's something that you told me a while back. I don't know if you remember. I came by the studio and I was telling you that my relationship with my father wasn't great. Yeah. And as soon as I lost my brother, our relationship changed. We were able to start talking. He was there. So it's something that, hearing you talk about losing both your parents, it made me start to question how life is very short.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, if you have both of your parents, I mean, not just your parents, but your siblings, all relatives, if you have a chance to talk to them, say hello, or get a text message, or shoot them a text message. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty important because things happen really fast, as we both know that. And for those people out there that can still receive a text from a brother, from a sister, a mother, or a father, I mean, you're extremely blessed. And sometimes you forget about that blessing because you're so used to it. But the moment that it goes away, you would wish that you had more of that. It's the simple things, right? But we're always looking for all these bonus things. But the bonus things is actually the simple things, knowing that you still have them here. So yeah, man, I'm happy to hear that you can take something and turn it into something better.
Yeah. No matter how negative it gets, sometimes we have to change the perspective of it. So,
right. Yeah.
Was there like a moment after losing both your parents where you almost broke mentally?
I don't think there was ever a moment that I almost broke mentally, but I'd be a liar if I didn't tell you that there wasn't moments that weren't tough. Yeah. I've always been a very strong-willed person, and I've always, had God in my life, which is honestly, if I did not have God in my life, then maybe I would have broke. Yeah. But that God is what's kind of kept me together, and that was the foundation and the principles that my parents had left, behind. Yeah. Is always putting God first in everything that you do. And so I don't think there was ever a moment that, almost made me break, but I did shake. Yeah. I did shake in certain moments, because, these people that you love are not here no more, right? And that's why it's important to hone in on those things that they were leaving and teaching you while you were here. And so Grateful for that, but also grateful for the opportunity to just stay strong-willed through the entire process.
If somebody's like on the other side of the screen that's feeling like giving up because they've experienced something similar to what we have experienced, or anybody else out there, what would you tell them, like if they feel like giving up completely on life?
Yeah, life is life. It's
Yeah.
going to continue to life, and things are going to continue to happen. And for anyone that tells you that life will always be great, they've not experienced life, or not enough of it, because the world is a crazy, dangerous, ugly, beautiful, curious. I mean, so many different things that describe this world. It's that, and so much more. And so you always have to be prepared for what life's going to throw at you. But my biggest advice is to always look at the things that are inspiration or blessing to your life. And these are the things that shift your focus. And for me, that's always kind of been the thing that has allowed me to think ahead, see ahead. And it's a simple solution for me. I look at vision as answers to everything. If I can see something, even if it's 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, and even if it excludes people along the way, but I can still see this vision strong, that vision provides solution. And so for me, life will always be life, and it would always throw you adversity.
Yeah.
It would always throw you challenges. It will always throw you obstacles. But one of the best things I've ever heard in life is that obstacles make the way. Obstacles make the way. And sometimes when people experience obstacle, the first thing they want to do is run and hide. But actually, if you don't have obstacles, to me, that says that you're living a perfect life. Where in that case, I don't think that's possible. And so obstacles create your way, and look at every single little detail that still exists that is in your life. Again, even if it's as simple as receiving a text message from a good friend or a family member, that's a blessing, because one day you will not receive that text, and you're going to wish that you did receive that text. So I look at all those little things, man, as a blessing in my life. I look at the things that I see ahead for myself as a blessing in my life. And these are the things that kind of keep us going and keep me going.
Do you think that maybe some individuals that take life for granted, maybe it's because they haven't experienced enough? Like for them, a broken windshield is the end of the world, right?
Right.
But if you've lost somebody or you've gone through some significant amounts of trauma, it changes the way you push mentally.
Right.
Because you know that it gets worse. I don't,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think trauma it becomes worse as we want it to become worse, or it gets better as we want it to become better.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about losing my parents. It could have been one of those things where it could have been the end of the world for me, right? But it was the beginning of a new world for me.
Yeah.
So it's all how you place a spin and put a different perspective on life.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I'm very blessed to be built off a foundation where my parents were leaders in their community. They were spiritual leaders to their community, and it's allowed for that to carry and transition over, which has made life easier for us.
Yeah.
And again, all that because God has always been in the center of everything that we do.
That's the most important. I think if you don't have faith, you lose yourself.
Absolutely.
This is a very deep question.
Okay.
I'm going to just be honest with you. You almost lost your daughter to meningitis. Take me back to that moment. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, again, when it comes to any type of family member that is dealing with something that you don't have the answers to, it's problematic.
Yeah.
It's dangerous and it's problematic. But all you can do is just pray, grow strength through the process, because people rely on our strength, right? My daughter was relying on my strength, was relying on, my wife's strength. And, it was one of those moments, of course, you never want to see your kids, struggle or in pain. And even when it comes to something as, dangerous as meningitis, that can really, turn for the worse, which we were very close to that. But God had other plans. We were very, again, just strong-willed, spirited people that just kept fighting with her. And of course, honestly, she was the one doing the fighting.
Yeah.
All we were doing was reinforcing her spirit and everything that she was dealing with. And, You know, the Bible talks about, you know, that God knows the plans, right? Jeremiah 29:11, that he knows our plans, and it's not to harm, it's to provide hope and future. And if we are people that believe in this, you know, then we're going to pour that into her, and we're going to pour that into everybody around us. And so we were just grateful that she came out on top.
That's
And
awesome.
it was one of those moments where it's scary, you know,
Yeah.
of course it's going to be scary, but it's only as scary as you make it. Just like anything else you do in life. Is again, if we want it to be worse, it's going to get worse. If you want it to get better, guess what? You have an opportunity to make it better. And it was one of those things where we were just going to make sure till the wheels fall off, we were going to be there until she got better.
Yeah. Well, I'm very happy that
Thank you, brother.
she's a fighter, man,
Yeah,
and she keeps
yeah.
going. And you know, no
Absolutely.
matter how challenging it was, it's a story to tell, right?
Yeah, for sure.
As a father, how do you stay strong when your child is fighting for their life? I know you just explained that, but the questions are repeating. But just generally speaking, it doesn't have to be just for your daughter, but for your son as well.
Yeah, one of the most important things, man, is, and I'll even share it from my childhood experience is, you know, I look at my childhood experience and I just wanted to be supported. You know, I fell in love with dancing. I fell in love with art. I fell in love with just following my passion. And and there was a lot of moments where that was misunderstood.
Yeah.
But then there were some people that didn't understand what you were going through. And so for me and my kids, I just want to support them. I just want to support them, be there for them, you know, tell them what I think is good and what's bad. And if they feel any different, I want to hear their version of it and why, and just be supportive. Obviously, all for the better, of course, right? I'm not going to support anything that I feel like is going to detour his life or her life in a negative direction, but for the better. And so I think it's just about listening, listening to your kids. I think as parents, sometimes we get a little bit overly aggressive with, we want you to do this, we want you to do that, we want you to do this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes as parents, we just got to just sit back and listen, because our kids today have a lot to say. And if we don't let them speak, I think it becomes problematic.
And then they do what they want to do.
They do what they want to do, and then they rebel and all these different things. But if you're a part of their process, their growing process, I think it makes life a little bit more easier and a lot more beautiful.
Yeah, no, 100%. I can tell you from our experience, I know losing my brother he was very secretive. We didn't even know he had a motorcycle.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money on crypto, didn't tell anybody, went and
Yeah.
bought a motorcycle, did what he wanted to do. But I think it's because he knew I was against it, mom was against it, he went and bought it.
Right.
Anyways, he's like, I got money, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And so the
no,
more you
man.
tell them not to do it, they're going to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you can't control, right? You can only be there, love, support as much as you can. At the end of the day, whether it's our brothers, our sisters, our friends, our cousins, or any relative or anybody within our network, one thing is I know this about you and your brother. He knows that you were always there for him.
Yeah.
Even if you disagreed with some of the things that he's done, he was doing or wanting. I know even from the little that I've hung out with you guys, that you were always there for him. You were always there for him, and I think that's what matters the most.
If it's okay, I wanted to share something that was really very important to me and my brother. The moment, I don't know if you remember years ago, I think it was Silverback.
Okay.
Remember it was, what was it, 2013? I don't even remember. It was years ago.
Yeah, probably
in Philly.
2014. It was
The
probably
big one.
2015, yeah.
And so my brother, he's like, hey, you know Moy? I'm like, yeah, he was one of my mentors. He's like, oh, that's cool. And he was just starting to understand breaking. He
Right.
didn't get into it as much as I was. But I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, that's cool, man. I would love to meet him. And I texted you. I was like, hey, you would like to meet you? And he, you came out. And the biggest thing that meant so much was that jacket that you signed.
Okay.
I still have it. My mom
Yeah,
gave it to me,
very
and
cool.
I have a hard time looking at it
Wow.
because it was something that meant so much.
To him at that
But it was
moment.
so little. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't like a big gift. But for me, it was like the fact that there was so much sentimental value.
Well, I think that's what it is, right? You carry moments and you grab onto moments for these little things that are little at the time, but carry so much emotional
Yeah.
value, right? So much sentimental value, and that's what makes everything special. And again, that's what I'm trying to say is that no matter what you go through in life, right? You can take these moments and find good emotional value, right?
Yeah.
My advice even with that to you is to is to not shy away from staring at that jacket.
Yeah.
Because that jacket meant so much to him, to you, that it should mean that, so you would want to stare at it
Yeah.
and bring back those good memories, right? Not for something negative because he's not here no more, but you got to understand that these moments create his presence.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what I'm referring to, is like, look at those details, right? These are things that have happened in our life that you can either make negative or you make positive, but it was a good moment.
Yeah.
There was nothing negative about that,
Yeah.
right? Even if it was something so tiny, but what it meant to him, it meant a lot. And that's what I refer to. I look at my life and all the things that I went through. Yes, it's been a lot of bad. Yes, it's been a lot of good, a lot of blessed moments, a lot of ups and a lot of downs. But I look at every single little detail that allows me to kind of progress and move forward. That's the thing that people sometimes forget about progression, is that sometimes they want things to kind of shift overnight. But even if it's just a little bit better every single day, that's progression.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it takes 10 years, even if it's just a little bit, and that's what happens when we lose somebody. It's tough at first, but it's little by little we get better and better. That's progression. That's where we want to be able to be when things should move forward. Things should move forward, they should not move back. And that's what our mind, that's what our brain wants to tell us to do at times, right? That's the emotional part of who we are as human beings.
Yeah.
Like, it wants to put us in a corner to be depressed, sad, and thinking about what we don't have these people here no more. And I know that it's easier said than done, but life is still going
yeah.
for you, for your family, for everybody else. And it's important for you guys to kind of bring your brother along for all that still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's important.
It gets emotional, especially looking at my son. Sometimes I'll look at him and I'm like, man, my brother would have been here. He would have been so excited. But so it's like, it's positive energy, but you still tear up at the same time.
Absolutely, because it's someone that you care for.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, I can talk about my parents and tear up, and there's a lot of times I can talk about my parents and smile because I know their impact.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Do you ever deal with intrusive thoughts of anxiety? Like, and how do you control it?
Yeah, to be very honest, I don't.
No.
I don't, because I don't let it. And I'm grateful and thankful that does not happen to me, because I don't want to sound like a broken record, right? But when you have God in the center of everything that you're doing, life becomes so much easier. Life becomes so much easier because I'm fully devoted in my faith. And if I'm not devoted in my faith, then what am I trusting in?
You're basically collapsing and you're falling apart.
What am I trusting in, right? Now, do we have thoughts that try to intervene all the time? Absolutely. Yeah. Those are intrusive thoughts. But I never let an intrusive thought misguide me or misdirect me. That is the difference, right?
Do you agree with, I tell a lot of people when I perform, I tell them to embrace those intrusive thoughts, but don't agree with those. Yeah. So like accept them. It's like somebody that's uninvited comes into your home.
It's awareness. Yeah. It's just being aware of what's happening. I'm aware of intrusive thoughts. Yeah. Right. So that's in your words, that's somewhat embracing it. Yeah. Right. I just know what's going on. Right. Yeah. I'm smart enough, sober enough to know what's going on. Right. 100%. When an intrusive thoughts is entering my life, I know that it doesn't belong there, but I see you. Yeah. I hear you, I feel you, but you don't belong here. So you got to go somewhere else. You know, and that's how I deal with it. So it never puts me in a state of anxiety or anything like that. At least to where I can't recognize it, right? Yeah. We're human beings and we're going to make mistakes, and we're still going to learn a lot about life and the things that we're going to experience over time, you know, and God willing, you know, I hope to not ever reach that state. But that's something I can't control. I can only control my faith. And if my faith is strong, that should never happen. Well,
what do you do? Let's say if you're going through, like your mind is starting to go into a dark process. What do you do to get out of it? What do you do? Let's say just to help out the individuals on the other side.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So maybe you've heard different from other people, but I don't have dark thoughts. Yeah. I don't, because that does not exist in my life. It's not allowed to exist in my life. Because of what I believe in, you know, And this is not, anybody that knows me can attest to that.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody that knows me can, this is not something I'm just saying it for the
No, no,
camera
no, no, no,
or
no.
saying it for the people. I do not let darkness be anywhere near my life. Does it try to intrude? Does it try to be a part? Absolutely. That's just what that does, right?
Yeah.
Constantly, over and over and over. That's what the devil is trying to do. Is trying to achieve an opportunity to be a part of someone else's life, so it can misdirect, misguide, renavigate, or whatever.
Yeah.
Change navigation, right? I don't allow that. So it's hard for me to kind of pinpoint or give advice on that, other than like, man, put your faith first, put your full trust in God, and you shouldn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And if you're not putting your full trust in God, then you are going to deal with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
A lot of men suffer silently, mentally. What would you say to men who feel like they can't, they can't break down?
You have to speak up. That's
Yeah.
number one. You have to speak up. No one knows what you don't know. No one knows what you don't feel. And it's tough. It's tough for men, right? There's this stigma in men where everybody feels like they have to be macho and they have to be strong. But that needs to be broken, because your voice is very powerful. It carries a lot of rhythm. It carries a lot of inspiration. It carries a lot of life. And so when men are dealing with these type of things, I think it's important for, number one, to voice it.
Yeah.
Voice, whether it's a scream, whether it's a simple just conversation, a prayer, that activates things.
Yeah.
But if you keep your mouth shut,
It doesn't.
it doesn't do anything.
You're not helping
That's
yourself.
why you hear this a lot. There's the power of the tongue, right? And you have to believe that you're powerful enough to make change or to manifest for the better and what you want in life, right? That's what needs to happen. So if we're not speaking up as men, right? If we have mental struggles, mental health issues, and we're not speaking up, number one, no one is ever going to know that you're struggling.
Yeah.
So we got to be able to be better about those things. We have to speak up, and it's not the easiest thing to do, but there's people that actually love you, care for you, and want to help. And if it's not the people that you want to help you or to care for you, trust me, there's organizations,
Yeah.
there's people, there's churches, there's your other friends that actually are willing to listen, but you got to give them that opportunity. That's step one. Again, that step one is probably the most powerful. Step two is just, if you can't find your words and you don't know how to voice it, text somebody.
Yeah.
Text somebody, email somebody. Find a way to find your communication channel that's going to allow for change to breathe life back into you.
Yeah.
Because somebody will come in and sweep you up from underneath your feet and really bring that life back.
What helped me was breaking. When I would break
Yeah.
a lot, it would help me just to get my negative thoughts out.
Yeah.
Or just doing something that's artistic.
Right.
Because it gets you away from your troubles.
Yeah.
And you start getting focused instead of actually focusing on the negative.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
A lot of people use talents, they use gifts,
Yeah.
things that they love and follow to be positive alternatives in their life, right? For a lot of us, it was breaking, it was dancing that allowed us to kind of redo. Sorry.
No, you're good.
To like just reassess life and redo life by bringing everything that we got going on and putting it into our talents.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point.
What's one moment in your life where quitting would have been easier?
That's a good question. What's one moment in my life where quitting could have been easier? Man, honestly, everything. I mean, life is difficult.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, it really is. That's how delicate life is. That it's difficult, right? But it can also be easy, right? Everything that I've ever gotten into has never been easy. Even though I might have made certain things look easy, it's been years of preparation, years of study, years of research, years of ups and downs to make people think that it was easy.
Yeah.
Whether it was through dancing, whether it was through business, whether it's through being a father or a husband. Like, all these things carry their own challenges. And even though there are things that sometimes through social media, or even for the little life that people know me, right, for the how little we communicate, they always think that we have it together, right?
Yeah.
But when I look back at life, you can look back at every moment right before I started this business, or right before I got into this venture, or right before I got into dancing, where I'm just like, if I didn't start, my life would be so much better.
Yeah.
If I would have quit earlier, I wouldn't have experienced this. But the idea of quitting, did it cross my mind? Absolutely. I just never allowed it. Because the moment you quit is actually the moment you fail.
Yeah.
That's just what I believe. The moment you quit. But what people fail to realize is that as they quit, they're this close away to achieving their next phase in their life, right? But they don't know it because they can't see that. And that's when vision comes into place. That's why I said, if you can see ahead, you will never quit. But if you can't see ahead, then you don't have an answer for today.
One thing that you used to tell us in class, and I use it today, just in a different,
Sure.
a different way. If you don't see yourself like that, you're not going to be there. And I think you would talk about it in breaking, but it's the same thing. I think if you can't see yourself having a nice car, you'll never have a nice car.
Right, exactly.
You could work hard, but you're just like lost.
I just truly believe that. I would tell you guys, just close your eyes and just kind of envision and think about what you want. If you can see it, you can achieve it. As corny as it sounds, but it's absolutely true. It's been the story of my life,
It's something I would do. I would write down my dreams as if I was already accomplishing them. And I've noticed that it's helped me a lot more than if I was like, I want to be a billionaire. Or instead of saying that, you say, I am a billionaire, I'm a millionaire. And you start to train your mind to be different. And you become a lot more confident in how you carry yourself and what you want to get to.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. And I operate the same way.
I think it helps. So, yeah.
Even if you feel like you're not achieving, it feels good to be a part of the process.
Yeah. 100%. Well, what drives you now? Is it legacy, family, purpose?
Family.
Family?
Yeah. My family is everything. Everything that I do today, whether it's dancing or that business, or it's real estate, which I'm heavily involved in today, like regardless of what it is, it's all for my family. I've removed myself completely, and it's happened more recently. I would say the last 3 to 5 years, I have removed my selfish desires for anything because I want the best for my family.
Yeah.
And I don't care what I have to do, what narrative people put on me. What I do is for my family. My family is the reason I do everything.
And that's something that really, really intrigued me about you. And this is why I was very drawn to you. Like, as somebody that, there's a lot of people out there, I want to tell you, I do get very nervous around you, not because of your expectations. And I look at you like, oh man, this guy had a very successful marriage. Okay. Not like breaking career. I don't look at that. Yeah, that's great. It's cool. You know how to dance. Yeah. But there's certain things that I look at that most people don't look at.
It's funny. I recently talked about that in one of my recent podcasts that I did with Ronnie. I mentioned that, you shouldn't judge someone like, we come from the dancing world. So I would, people are so easy to judge right through dancing, but I would never judge anybody by their dancing. I would always judge them. When it was about character or integrity, I would judge them based on their life, right? Their marriage, how they carry themselves outside of the dance floor. Yeah. Because it says a lot about a person, right? Whether it's a man or a woman, husband or wife, like it says a lot about a person. And I appreciate those words from you because that's exactly how I try to live my life. Yeah. Like there's not a lot of people that can say that they've been married 20 years.
See, that's awesome. And I think
my wife and I just celebrated 20 years.
See, and I think that's so awesome. I think when I was in high school, the biggest thing I would have, people are like, oh, I've been with this girl, I've been with this. And for me, it was always like, I want to get married. Yeah. I want to have kids. And everybody's like, why are you thinking of that? I'm like, because I was like, you guys don't think about it. Your parents are going to be gone one day. Yeah. And they're like, who's going to be your caregiver when you get home and you worked and you want somebody that gives you a hug and gives you love and gives you warmth. your kids, your wife.
Listen, man, you know, again, like I said, we just celebrated 20 years. We're not perfect, you know, but we're perfect for each other.
Well, congratulations, by the
Yeah,
way.
no, thank you. Like, we're not perfect, but we're perfect for each other. We sit down and talk about our flaws all the time.
Yeah.
And how we're so like just opposites, you know, and what she likes and what I like, and you know, my mistakes and her mistakes and everything, right? And guess what? You know, she will always be who she is. I will always be who I am, and we will all deal with our own personal challenges, right? But at the same time, we're always going to be there for each other.
That's the
right?
most
We're always
important,
going to be there for each other, and for me, I think that says a lot about life. Is when you can actually strap yourself down and commit your entire life to a significant other, and know that they're your backbone, and know that they're your back. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't do that because they find life in a lot of different things. But life is at home with your family.
You know, I wanted to add to something that you were saying. I think a lot of people don't think about the other. And that's the reason why we struggle with relationships and friendships. Everybody's about me, 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 me.
Right.
It's a quick release society.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where it could be intimate, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol. That's what people are chasing. And I think that's why everything is destroyed instead of actually chasing what can I do for him.
It's also why people lose opportunities and a part of their success. Like, I talked about this recently with somebody else just through a phone call. We were talking about sponsorships in the dance world and things like that. And I said, well, the problem is that everybody that's looking for a sponsorship, they just want to collect a check. But in reality, if someone believes in you and wants to invest in you, you got to think about, what do you give them in return?
Yeah.
Because you're essentially an investment, and then you also become an investment for them, and you also have to find a way to provide a return. And so it's a partnership. It's not a sponsorship. I've never looked at every sponsorship that I've had as a one-way street. I've always seen it as a partnership. What can I do to have them be a part of my life long term?
Yeah.
You know, and not just sit back and collect something. You know,
Create value. You know, it's like my employees. I had one of them that wanted $100 an hour plus benefits, and I'm like, what do you like?
Yeah.
You know, what are you thinking? You know, now you can pitch it to me and give me a reason why, but if you're just saying that you're a great worker, well, there's millions of great workers. Now, if you come up with a plan and say, I'm going to make you more money, now you're creating value.
Well, see, here's the thing. There's a lot of people that create value, but there's very few that can actually capture value. You can paint a picture about value all day long. You can tell me that you're worth this. You can tell me that you're worth that. But if you can't capture that and bring it right back, then created value doesn't mean anything.
Just because you're good doesn't mean anything.
Just because you can create value and paint a picture doesn't mean that picture will come to life.
Well, I wanted to ask you this question. Like, if your younger self was watching right now, what would you tell your younger self today?
If I was watching myself as a younger self, I'd just say, keep going, man. You got this. Like, you know, everything that you're dealing with, everything that you're going to continue to deal with or face in the future, it ain't nothing. Because what you're aiming for is so much bigger than what's actually in front of you. And so as long as you keep going, you're going to make it happen. And you're going to reach success like you've always believed, and fight. Just keep going. I mean, it's simple. It's a simple message.
Yeah. Well, what does strength really mean to you today? Like,
strength is number one, first, knowing when you're wrong. I think that showcases a lot of strength. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges for not just men, but for anybody. It's just to know that if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that carries a lot of strength. I think strength is understanding the unknown, even when you don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen. You figure it out and you make it happen. I think that's strength.
Yeah.
I think that strength is even when you feel like the world is falling apart and on top of you, you find a way to keep getting back up and pushing forward.
Yeah.
And, I think those three things are what truly identifies strength for me.
Okay. Well, if somebody's on the other side of the screen watching right now and they don't have the strength to get up, what would you tell them right now?
I would say you can. And, just, one step at a time. You don't always have to get straight to your feet. I mean, get on your knees. Get on your knees and cry for help. Ask God to bring you what you're looking for. And I think that is the most powerful thing that I've ever heard, is that prayer. And it's my pastor, Pastor Gary Alaniz, he's always talking about how prayer is voice activated, right? You can mentally close your eyes and just pray and pray, but if you're not speaking it, it's going to be difficult for anybody to hear you.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult for anybody to hear you. So prayer is voice activated. So if somebody is flat on their face right now, you don't have to stand on your feet. Get on all fours, get on your knees, and take it one step at a time. But speak, pray, yell, scream, do all these things. And slowly but surely, I truly believe God is going to continue to pour life and life more abundantly over and over and over until you can stand on your feet and tell your story again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very well said. Well, thank you for coming on to the pod.
Absolutely,
I really
Thank you.
appreciate you coming on and telling your story. You guys can truly flip that effing mind and continue to keep on growing. I believe in you guys. Keep on going.
Peace, y'all.